Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in into today's lesson. We're going to be starting today off with a topic which is something that has been in my heart, an issue of concern which I believe each and every one of us has a say in it, whether consciously or unconsciously. And the topic is on financial education. Financial education, wow. I'm struck by this particular topic in the sense that from the time of our birth until we become full-fledged, matured individuals, these are conversations, or rather, these are topics that are never discussed in schools. You see? And the sad truth is that you're given birth to, you go through kindergarten, go through secondary school, go through university, and all through this, a topic as important as this is never discussed in anything that has to do with the academic syllabus in school. Which is no wonder why we see a lot of people struggling to actually make ends meet in life. But why? But why is our educational system fashioned like this? Why has it been constructed in such a way that at the end of the day, it makes us job dependent? If you look at the society now, there's something that's called the 20-80 rule, in the sense that 20% of the population provide the job opportunities for the other 80% of the population. And why 80% of the population depend on 20% of the population for survival? Why this contrast? What is it that this 20% of the people know that we as individuals don't know? In a nutshell, it all boils down to financial education. It all boils down to our concept of how we think about money, or what we were taught about money. I'm no exception to this. I'm sure some of you out there as well can as well agree with me. You know, for those of you actually out from average income families, you hear where your father would say, oh, listen, go to school, get a good grade, so that you can come out and find a good paying job. There is nothing absolutely wrong with that. One, not everybody you see is actually destined to be a business owner. There are people who are actually meant to be followers, who have something to get to offer, or rather people who could represent as a rock for those who are willing to step outside the boat. I'll reiterate the statement that there is nothing absolutely wrong in that, if the path which you have chosen is for you to get to find a job. But where the criticism will come in is, after working, after being paid, and still you don't know how to make your money work for you, then that is when at the end of the day we're going to be living from paycheck to paycheck, where we only have to work to get to save a bit of what we work for, and at the end of the day get to pay the bills. But this is not what I want for people out there, which has been an issue of concern for me. Because if there's something that you're actually going through, if there's this difficulty which you experience, it means that there will be somebody out there who would actually be experiencing the same thing, such as yourself. So that is why I have made this decision to take this step to fulfill my passion, which is to help people financially. So, as we'll get into the topic of today, I'd like to introduce myself again for those of you who don't know me, who are coming across me for the first time. Like I said, my name is Pascal Uchenna Lowedim, and I'm the host and the presenter for this particular TV station. Okay, so at any particular point in time, please feel free to check my station out. If there's anything that's of concern to you, be it financial, okay, just look at it as a one-stop where you can come to and find, answers to whatever it is that you're looking for. If it's what I cannot give you an answer to, I would be delighted to go out there and to look for the answer, to help you out in that area of concern for you. Okay, so feel free at any particular point in time. So let's get into the topic while we're here today. So, in a nutshell, what is financial education? Let's simply say that financial education is the study of how we make, budget, invest, and spend our money. That is what it's all about. So, what do we mean by how we make money? This takes us back to our earlier conversation earlier on, where we talked about the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the population provide the job opportunities which 80% of the population are dependent on. And the same thing is applicable in every society, which is one of the reasons why you find that there were fewer richer people compared to the rest of the population. And the secret about it is that once you know how to make money works for you, guess what? Every other thing falls in place. Your money that works for you grows exponentially, because no matter how hard you work for yourself as an individual, you can never work harder than money. And if it's something that you find yourself in the Fortune 500 or the FTSE 100 companies, where you become a CEO of any of those companies listed in any of those indexes, then the better for you, because at that position means that you're making quite a lot of money. But also there's usually a problem as well. The problem is most people spend a lot of money on stuff. They spend a lot of money on liabilities. Okay, so as we get into the topic of financial education, we're going to be learning all these things. We're going to be seeing all these things and understand how they apply to us as well as individuals. So, back to what we're saying. So, it's the study of how we make, we budget, invest, and spend our money. So, we make the money either through your business or through an employment. So which means that at the end of the month, once you've offered your service to that company which you have a contractual agreement with, there's an exchange, which is a monetary value. So however much you're being paid in your place of work, that depends on how valuable you are to the marketplace. Okay, so the next step comes to budgeting. Okay, so after being paid, how do you budget your money? Do you work to pay for your bills first, or do you work to actually set money aside that can go into other things such as investments and for yourself? Okay, so budgeting comes in. This is where you plan on how much you're actually going to spend for yourself, how much you're actually going to keep to yourself, how much is going to go towards miscellaneous expenses, etc. Investments. This is the crucial point of what financial education is all about, because this is the particular reason why the rich keeps getting richer and the poor keeps getting poorer. Why? The rich make money and they spend it on assets. They spend money on things that will bring in more money for them. In a nutshell, this is just the truth on how wealth is actually created. And the fact about it is that when you learn to invest £1, guess what? The pound makes a return. There's an interest on that pound. And you know what? The beauty about it is, because of the interest that's been accrued on that pound, should any other opportunity come up which is equivalent to the pound, means that you have extra right now for you to get into another investment, which is the reason why your money will continue to grow exponentially. So, one of the things that we as individuals should get to learn to do is we should learn to invest. Investment is the key to wealth creation. I'm not saying you're actually going to be the richest man on earth, as we have seen with the likes of Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Halo Carlos Slim, and the rest of them. No. But these are the same principles which these particular individuals have actually taken. And the difference why they've been able to achieve so much wherever they are today is because of the extent of their mindsets. You see, the mindset you have is what would lead you places, because you can still be exposed to this quality of information, but if your mindset is not, if it's not strong enough, if it's not built enough to help you take your skill or to help you take what you know to the next level, then it's really not worth it. It's really not worth the effort then. But once you're able to develop that mindset that, you know what, with what I know today, I believe and I can actually do something with it, then you start to move in the right direction. So, after investments, then this is the time to get to spend our money. At this particular point in time, you are free as an individual to decide how much you wish to spend on, or rather how you wish to go about it. But the most important thing is that once these other steps which has been highlighted have been met, then you're at liberty to continue. I remember I came across a quote written by Bill Gates where he said that during his 20s that he never took one day off. So no wonder why he remains at the top of the rich list until Jeff Bezos came and took over. And also we don't know how the level of sacrifice also which Jeff Bezos have actually committed, which has actually made him the richest man in the world now, the first central billionaire that we have on the surface of the planet now. Individual, we're not talking about farm in the world, as an individual. Okay, so having said that, so what is the importance of financial education? Let's go further. It says it educates us on the principles of money. So there are principles of money. There is a way in which money is meant to be operated. Yes, money is an obedient servant. As long as we know the direction to lead it to, it will obey you in a way which you never ever expected. So, there are principles, and these principles are things which are meant to be discovered by ourselves. Okay? Because once you're able to take advantage of these principles and learn how to make money an obedient servant, then the sky is not just the limit, but it is the starting point. Why do I say this? For example, let's take a newborn baby and a man of my size right now, okay? Now you take us to the top of a tower building, okay, and you decide to let each and every one of myself and the baby, you decide to push us off this particular building. Guess what's gonna happen? We're both gonna fall. Life is not gonna say, oh, this is actually a baby and this is a matured man. Why? That the matured man deserves to die and let's keep the baby alive. No, life does not work that way. Why? Because there are principles, because there are laws governing each and every one of us here on the surface of this earth. And there's a law called the law of gravity that states that everything that goes up must come down. Because on this earth, whatever it is must remain on the ground. So the law of gravity is what actually makes sure that we go back to the surface of the earth. We remain on the surface of the earth and not float just like you float when you're in space. So, having said that, it also means there are laws governing money. There are laws governing wealth creation. So it's expected of us now for us to discover what those principles are. So these are the things that actually sets us apart from those who are not concerned in topics like this. Because once that interest starts to resonate on the inside of you, you begin to do everything possible. You begin to do everything, you try as much as possible to make sure that you're able to lead yourself in that direction. Secondly, it allows us to determine what vehicle to choose for our wealth creation. So obviously there are different vehicles. There are different ways which we could plan on how to go about it, on how we could go about wanting to start creating our financial future. Yes. Different vehicles. And that is where your passion comes in. Because it's your passion that is your vehicle. It is your passion that will lead you in the right direction. Because you cannot be engaged in something which you have no passion for and expect it to yield results for you. It's not possible. You must work in line with what gives you joy, with what gives you satisfaction. So that way you can afford to bring out the best in you at all times. I remember there's this particular seminar I went for some time ago by Christopher Howard. And it says, in his book, it says, turning passion into profits. As long as you love what you do and you're willing to be of service, you can turn your passion into profits. Your passion could become your vehicle. For me, my passion is uplifting people, motivating people, helping them see the best in themselves. This is what my passion is. And this is the vehicle which for me personally, I have chosen to take. Because as we progress into the course, you will get to understand that there are other things I've actually done to equip myself, which is giving me this confidence for me to be able to do precisely what I'm doing today, which is talking to wonderful people like yourself who are actually listening to me today. And the third point is it enables us know how to make better decisions when it comes to financial issues. Yes. There's the saying that in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Yes, very, very, very true. And why do I say that? In the sense that if you don't know, you can't lead me. If you can't see, you can't lead me. I'd rather prefer following the guy who knows where he's heading to, who has eyes to see, because he can lead me in the direction which I wish to go. Having said that, that does not mean that I don't have to take steps to get to educate myself. The reason why I said that is no man knows everything. We are not an embodiment of all knowledge. There are several things which I don't know, which you know, for instance. You understand that? But the fact is, when it comes to issues of financial natures like this, if I choose to speak to a professional, or if I choose to speak to someone who has actually been in the field before me, guess what's going to happen? I'm not a novice. One, because I'm able to understand what is being delivered to me. I'm being able to understand what is being delivered to me gives me the opportunity for me to be able to make a decision should a time come that warrants my making a decision with regards to any issue of that nature. Then I decide, okay, Mr. Pascal would like you to do this. I'm not going to be doing anything which is being advised of me blindly. Why? Because I'm knowledgeable. Because I know what to get to do. Because I know how to go about making a decision. That is what the advantage of financial education is all about. That is what the principles of financial education is all about. And once you're able to get to achieve that, Once you're able to do that, then the rest takes care of itself. And lastly, we can afford to attain financial freedom. Yes. Why did I actually say this? Because with the quality of information you have, with the knowledge you have, now you can actually go out there now and grab the bulls by the horn. Now you know what business you want to go into. Now you know what assets you wish to buy. You know who to give your money to help you manage your funds properly. If it's something that you don't want to go into business, some people will prefer, you know what, Mr. Financial Advisor, I need you to manage X amount of money for me, and all I just want to just tour the world, just enjoy myself. There's nothing wrong with that. But for you to be able to achieve that means that your money is expected to be working 10 times harder than you're working to provide you with a lifestyle which you prefer. So, having heard all that, I'm sure you can agree with me that financial education it's of importance to us. No matter what it is that we're engaged in, be it work, in our personal life, our social life, at every point in time, financially we should be aware of what's going on around us. Because that is the only way you can impact. You cannot give what you don't have. It's not possible. It's not. And for you to be able to see that future which you want, for you to be able to have and build the future that you desire, means that you should be able to understand all this. Because self-investments, investing in yourself is the best form of investment that you can actually do. For example, there are two people who are in the same line of business. One just started the business just normally as is expected to. The fact about it is that no matter what you do, there's always a reward for it. The difference is the scale which the reward comes into. Okay, that is why you can find two people in the same line of work, in the same line of business, but you find one other person doing better than the other. Why? Because the person who's actually doing better is actually taking the time to educate himself. He has taken the time to invest in himself, to invest in his business, to enable him scale his business to greater levels. And this is what financial education is all about. As long as we're taking the time to educate ourselves in things that has to do with us financially, then we're prepared to ride the storm when the storm comes. Because now we're not just taking unawares, because we've been prepared. We'll see the storm when the storm comes. We'll prepare for it before it comes, and we enjoy the storm. Because in life, the best of you, the best thing about you comes out in the roughest times. When there seems to be no hope. When you think, oh, things are actually going sour. Things are actually going south for me now. Believe me, that is the best time. That is when leaders are born. That is when the sleeping giant on the inside of you awakens to enable you head in that direction. So, I'm not sure what your vision is. I'm not sure how far. For me, I want to make a billion. That is where I'm headed. I got the mindset of a billionaire. Yes, the mindset of a billionaire. That's all that rotates in my head. Am I actually going to achieve it? I don't know. But there's one thing I'm going to use to end this particular topic here right now would be that if you shoot for the stars, you never know where you can end up. You can end up landing on the moon. So, your vision in life should be crazy. Let some other person see it and like, what? How are you going to do this? That's where life steps in. You've actually done the most important thing, which is to create the vision, which is to write it out on paper, which is to determine where you're actually headed, and life steps in from there. So why be financially educated? Because financial education can help us as individuals understand more and how money works. It's important that we know how money works, so we don't end up in life being slaves to money. It's just a piece of paper. It's just an idea on how we could transact things easily between ourselves. So it's not a God. It's not what should be placed with such esteem, with high esteem, that we lose focus of whom we are. We are the masters of money. But until you learn to be a master, until you learn to take the steps to make you a master, it's just like a king who lives the lives of a papa. Unfortunately, that's how most of us live our lives. But I believe with people coming up every day, heading in the directions, such as myself and all those who have actually been there before me, together we can work to help the less privileged, to help those who don't have access to this kind of information or the quality of information which we enjoy. So don't be deceived by the outside look. There is something much bigger on the inside of each and every one of us. You are big. You are big. Don't let anyone put you down. Don't let anyone make you think like you're not capable of doing anything for yourself. It's only possible if you don't actually do anything to help yourself grow. Then you remain stuck. Then you remain where you are. But the thing about it is that in the life which we live now, it's expected of us to constantly upgrade ourselves, to constantly invest in ourselves. Because once you're able to do that, once you take out the time to constantly invest in who you are, then you can bring out the best in yourself. That is why people who are successful always tell you, get yourself a mentor, get yourself someone who has actually been there. Because these people have actually taken the steps which you wish to embark on now. So wherever a mistake occurs, they help correct you. They help you do the right thing. So that is what is expected of us. Bring out the best in yourself.